the BTFC RDA from VapnFagan and Augvape. Let's have a look. Hey guys, Vick here, back with another review. Today we are looking at this, the BTFC RDA, designed by Augvape and VapnFagan. BTFC Bottom Top Flavour Cloud is the name of this RDA. It's called that simply because it has bottom airflow which goes through the deck and underneath the coil, and it has airflow holes at the top as well. Both sets of air holes are fully adjustable. I'll go over how they vape in each configuration when we come back up top. It has a very unique deck design, this RDA. Basically what they've tried to do is solve the age-old problem of how do you stop an undercoil RDA from leaking down those air channels. The way they've done that is by having a huge juice well on here, really high raised up posts, and a postless mounting system that comes on a diagonal. So a very interesting deck, a very interesting idea, and a wide variety of airflow options available on this RDA. 25mm wide, available in a range of colours. It's made by Augvape, so it's pretty well made and it's very affordable. 25mm wide, goon fitting tips, comes with a goon tip adapter as well if you want to use your normal drip tips. The complete package, and a very interesting deck and airflow setup. Let's go down low. Full transparency. The down low section is actually a week before this. It was actually before I went away. Took it away with me after doing the down low section. So we're going back a week in the past to go down low before coming back up top for pros and cons. See you in a sec. Okay guys, here we are down low with the BTFC RDA from VapnFagan and Augvape. This is the packaging. This is how it comes in a sort of one of these cool tubes. Augvape been doing these tubes a little while. Very neat way of sending a thing. Yeah, no complaints with the packaging at all. Inside you're going to get your Allen key. I've very luckily scored a rainbow colour BTFC RDA. Yeah, so that's quite the thing, but it is available in a range of colours, so don't worry about that. You've got your top cap here, goon tips I believe. Yep, let's have a look. Let's pop it off, make sure, let's see what other goon tips fit and all that sort of nonsense. Okay, yeah, so it looks like an absolutely classic black goon tip. Grab another goon tip out of the old box, and yeah, fits absolutely snug. One thing to note on this though, it does have this raised platform here, so certain drip tips might look a bit weird. Like this one looks a bit weird in a way because you've got the plate bit and then the little Hellvape stainless steel bit on top. So drip tip choice will be down to you, but yeah, it could look a bit weird with some, so do bear that in mind. So there we go, goon tip on the top cap, and you can see you've got let's push that back in neatly. So you can see you've got air holes on the top here, and they correspond with these holes here, and you can close those right off like that. Simple twisting and turning, and for a brand new RDA out of the packaging, that's quite impressive how well that airflow ring turns. So let's attach this to something so we can get it open. So I've stuck it on a mod, and the next thing to notice is the bottom airflow here. So this bottom airflow is also adjustable. If you go that way, you can adjust it like that, closing it and opening it, and it is dual-sided, as you can see. Now we've got this on, we can pop this off and have a proper look. Okay, so this is the top of the chamber. As you can see, you've got that airflow in the top, staying up the top end, and then you've got this bottom airflow which comes in at the bottom and then goes up through the deck. Quite a tall RDA. I suppose it's got a lot going on in terms of airflow though, so it's going to need that height. And yeah, there's not like any crazy beveling inside. It's a pretty straight up and down top cap, and on the side there, BTFC, which is its name. So there we go, so that is the top cap. Let's get onto the deck. As we just said, we've got this airflow situation here. We've got this if you just look inside there, so you've got your air going in here, which is adjustable as well, and then you've got your two little air holes there going up the post here and into here. These are the two holes that they correspond with. So that's quite interesting. So what you've got here, what the idea is here, is that there is a huge gap between where your juice comes in and where your juice sits, and where your coil sits. So the aim of this is to have a bottom airflow RDA, but with a very lower chance of leakage, because if you're squonking and things like that, juice, it's going to be very difficult for juice to get down these holes, whereas on things like the Kennedy and what have you, it was more of a problem. The tubes were much closer to the deck. So that's the logic here, that's the thinking. So postless design, we've got our Allen keys here. It came with this Allen key as well. So what we're doing here is opening this up, opening these up. You've got this positive side here, that's all positive and that's all negative. So let's open those up, see if we can get a coil in here. Okay guys, here we are back down low with the RDA, the BTFC RDA from VapnFagan and Augvape. This is so I've put one coil in. It's actually a very simple RDA to build on. When things get interesting is actually the wicking. There's quite a few wicking tips with this RDA. So basically, what I recommend you do in terms of mounting a coil on here, whoa, focus time. So what I recommend you do in terms of coiling is pre-cut your leads. About 5-6 millimeters seems to be about the length. It just simplifies things after. You don't have to worry about snipping your leads, and also the length of your leads isn't super important because the leads actually slot right down into this diagonal space here, so they're pretty much covered up anyway. So you just get you get your lead, you turn it on its side a little bit here, and you literally just push it through until it just slots all the way through. And as long as they're not, your leads aren't pointing out here, you just get turning, just get tightening them back up. We'll straighten the coil and pull it out a little bit once it's in properly. So we're just tightening it up. So the actual coiling of this is really nice, really simple, really nice. Pre-cut your leads about 5-6 mil. Use a coily tool if you've got one, or just do it by eye. It's one of these where you can very easily eyeball your placement. So once you've got it in, pull it out, straighten it up, get it how you like it. I'm wanting to leave a bit of space because I'm going to be dripping with this, not squonking, and I want to do it right down the middle. I'll tell you for why in a sec. So what you want to do, straighten up your sorry if it's going all blurry and off camera here, but I'm just really moving these coils about. I want them straight and I want them off the airflow. So I'm just giving them a wiggle and a jiggle, because obviously when they're really low down here on this airflow, that's too close. Okay, so give it a wiggle and a jiggle, and then you should be somewhere like that. Obviously the only important bit there with the coiling is to make sure that you're some distance away from the airflow. You don't want to be right on top of the airflow. You don't want to be too close to these blocks, cause any issues with that. And the other thing is, I recommend pre-cutting your leads, just because it doesn't matter too much how long your leads are with this, because there's so much room in here. As long as it's trapping it down and not poking out, there's quite a lot of room to do it. So I strongly recommend pre-cutting your leads. You know, this is a very easy RDA to do that on. So your cotton's obviously going to go straight down here and into these huge juice wells, and when you drip down the middle, hopefully it goes nowhere near your air holes, and then you've got yourself a very nice vape. There are a few tricks to the wicking though, so I'm just going to warm these coils up and then start wicking. Right, so there are two important bits to the wicking on this RDA. Firstly, your wicks have to be quite long, surprisingly long actually, because it's such a deep juice well. So let's just get quite a bit through here, like that. So you do actually have to keep your leads quite long, like surprisingly long for an RDA. So we're actually going to go only to there. The reason for that is obviously you've got the cotton needs to go all the way to the bottom of that juice well. So there we go, let's get rid of those. Trim this fluffier side down a bit. Brush it out a bit as well. The second bit of the wicking, the second thing I'll say about the wicking is you don't want to overpack this. Now there's plenty room for cotton, of course there is. It's a very big 25mm RDA with a huge juice well, but you still don't want to overpack this with cotton, and the reason for that is when you drip on top of this, you don't want it all too blocked up, because you want the juice to be able to move around. Because if the juice sits on top, there's more chance that the juice will go down the air holes. So thin it out a bit, don't overpack it, and make sure the leads are long enough to go into the RDA. You see how long those leads are and how they go all the way down, and you see how that there's room here and here, and that's not all covered up with cotton. Those are the important bits in my opinion with this RDA. By no means am I saying that this is tricky to wick or anything like that. It's just what I found with building this. Make sure your cotton's long enough so it goes all the way to the bottom. It really helps the wicking. And make sure they're not too packed up so your juice doesn't sit on top. Sorry, we'll keep going out of focus. Go again. Bosh. There we are. So again, swine. So we're keeping the lead nice and the cotton length nice and long, and we're thinning it out quite a bit as well to stop it getting overpacked and juice sitting on top there. So again, a quick brush. Totally worth the extra effort in my opinion. And there we go. Get rid of all this excess. And then poke it down. All the way down to the bottom. Do make sure that the cotton is going all the way down to the bottom. Super cool thing to do. And yeah, crazy juice. Well, it's like a shallow RDTA in a way. So there we go. So that's all nicely in there. I'm going to start adding juice. I've got it in dripping mode, but it does squonk very nicely as well. So we're going right down the middle, like we will do when we do it. Also, if you can do these sides as well. That should all drop nicely into the juice well. Get this all nice and juiced up, and I'll show you what it's actually going to drip like once it's properly juiced up. Obviously, huge amount of cotton in here, so huge deep juice well, so you need plenty of juice. This thing holds plenty of juice. So there we go, we're a bit more juiced up now. This is how it's looking, and so when we drip on top, obviously this would normally be through the drip tip or whatever, but when we drip up top, it's going straight down those coils, straight down into the base of the RDA, and not down those air holes. If I show you the sides here of the RDA, still perfectly clean down those holes, still perfectly clean down that hole. So yes, the design premise is perfectly acceptable. When you drip down the middle of here, unlike other bottom airflow RDAs, the juice doesn't go down the air holes. So there we go. So that's the plan. Let's put it back together. So we're putting it on like this, like that, and then the way I actually vape it, I'll show you all ways up top. The way I actually vape it is fully closed at the top. So there we go, the BTFC RDA from Augvape and VapnFagan. And if I didn't mention it before, inside the packaging you do get a secondary longer goon tip, and you also get a squonk pin, of course. So there we go. Let's go up top. Okay guys, that was the BTFC RDA down low. Quite a messy down low section. Sorry about that. I wanted to unbox it brand new and put a build in it brand new and give you my thoughts as I went along that process. The reason I wanted to do that is because I was going away for a week and I wanted to use it and test it while I were away so I could do a video as soon as I got back. So yeah, so a slightly messy down low section, but a very interesting one as well. I'm sort of glad I did sort of walk you through it. In terms of the build, my only sort of thing with mounting the coils is I recommend just eyeballing the clipping of the leads on here. There's absolutely loads of wriggle room, and I think it's easier to just get rid of the leads before putting it in rather than trying to cut them off once you've done, because you do want them really flush, or ideally not even visible at all once you've put it together. Also, get your coils up above that airflow. You don't want it too close to it. You don't want to cause a short or anything like that. And you don't want the coil bang on those air ducts anyway. It's going to restrict the airflow. It's going to potentially cause juice that's on the coil to go down the airflow holes. So get the coils up above that airflow setup. Beyond that though, mounting the coils, very, very easy, very good in that respect. Wicking it again is easy as well. The only two things to remember with the wicking is you want quite long leads, because they've got to go quite long strands of cotton, because they've got to go right down to the bottom of this very, very deep juice well. And I recommend thinning out the cotton as well. I don't think you want too much cotton in there, because when you drip it, you want the juice to go straight into those channels, those big juice wells. You don't want it sitting on top, because if the juice sits on top, there is the chance it might go down those air holes. So does it solve that Does it solve that age-old problem of of dripping on an RDA with under-coil airflow? It kind of does, actually. It kind of does. You can't go mad. You can't go mad when you're dripping with it. Absolutely. I don't recommend just glugging loads down like you can with side airflow RDAs, but you certainly can just drip down the tip, and I have been doing that. It's probably still easier to whip the cap off. But no, I've been dripping down the tip. As long as you're a bit more careful and you don't do too much juice at once, it has not been a problem air going down the juice holes. So I just drip down the tip there, giving it a vape, and there's no air in those intakes. So it does genuinely work in that respect. It's almost like a very shallow RDTA, because the juice wells are huge, so it spends its time wicking up just like an RDTA would, if you like. So it does do that. So yes, it's pretty much as good as it's going to get in terms of dripping on a bottom airflow RDA. The next thing to note on this is the airflow options. There is a lot of airflow options available here. So you've got your bottom airflow, which you can close right down by just simply turning it. It's actually quite a tight, restricted vape when you do it like that. And it does give you a very different style vape. I've been vaping it fully open at the bottom and fully closed at the top at 60 watts, and it's a bit like this. For me, this is by far the best way to set it up for flavour. The flavour is, in my opinion, at its best when the top air holes are closed. The other options you can do is to close the bottom one completely and open the top completely. But the problem with that is the barrel spins round 90 degrees to close the bottom airflow holes, and then if you open these, the positioning of these air holes is kind of off center. I know that's not super important on top airflow, but it does seem to kind of make a difference for me. So you can vape it just with the top holes, but I'm just getting nowhere near the flavour from the top holes I am from the bottom holes. The other option, the sort of third or fourth option, if you like, with this is the whole thing open, top open, bottom open. Now if you're a super high wattage builder or a series vapor or what have you, and you like your megawatts, your absolutely massive wattage, then this is definitely an option for you. You could put crazy high watts through here and still vape it very pleasantly with both holes open. This is it fully open, only at 60 watts, but it is fully open. And obviously you're just getting so much more air, it really cools it down. For me it does mute the flavour having the top air holes open, but you can definitely do that if you like your super high watts. That's definitely an option for you. So in summary, in terms of the airflow configurations and the flavour and all that, I really like the vape of it with the air holes at the bottom fully open and the top one's closed. I think the flavour's good, I think it vapes very nicely, and as we've said, it's not too leaky like that either. So that's how I'm liking to vape it. So in summary, very affordable, very well made, goon tips, 25mm wide, available in several colours. I think it's very well put together, very affordable and very nicely done. I think the deck is smart. I think the deck is very clever indeed. I think it's as close as you're going to get to not having a leaky under coil RDA. I think they've done a really good job of getting the distance between the juice and the air intake as far away as they can, and to the sides as well. So they've done a really nice job on that, particularly for squonking. I think it squonks very well, this RDA, in terms of you can squonk it like mad. You can really fill up that juice well, and there's absolutely no chance of leaking. So in terms of a 25mm squonk RDA, it definitely hits the spot in that respect. So I think it's a very clever deck, very easy to mount your coils, very easy to build with, no bother. I really like that it works really well for me in dual and single coil. The deck allows for a single or a dual coil very easily and works very well in either configuration. I do genuinely feel that. Wicking, again, it's a breeze. These super deep juice wells make it super easy. Keep them long, keep them fluffy. But yeah, wicking, again, no issue at all. I think it's a clever deck. I like the way it vapes in this configuration. About 60 watts, you know, nice dessert vape in here. It's vaping very nicely. I think it's very well put together. I think it's very well thought out. I think Fagan and Augvape have done a good job on this RDA. And if you like your super cloudy RDAs, then check it out for both hole options, because it definitely allows you to put a lot of air through here, and you get your big builds in there, no issue. So for me personally, I like it. I think it's a good RDA. I rate it highly with undercoil airflow. But also maybe check it out if you're a super cloudy vapor with all the air holes. But for me, the top air holes really do mute the flavour. I've got to say that. So overall, it's a positive review. I think it's a solid RDA, definitely worth checking out if undercoil airflow is your thing. If you're a Kennedy fan or any of these newer ones with the undercoil air, I think it's definitely up your street if you're an undercoil airflow fan. A really solid RDA from Augvape and VapnFagan. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you've got one of these. If you're going to get one of these, put in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you on the next review. Cheers.